morning everybody and welcome to another video, and you're joining me in the van today, our beautifully new converted van. And today I'm going to show you all of the little bits that we added to our van despite the very strict budget. That includes changing over the wheels, tracking, a new coolant cable, new speakers, finding a solution to fix our broken heater system at the front of the van, adding a swivel seat, adding a fridge, a toilet, an electrical system, a boiler, a shower, changing all of the upholstery inside of the van, adding our amazing wooden ceiling, including 3 LED lights, reupholstering loads of the carpet inside the van, all on our mega tight budget. Let's get on with the tour. As you know, we own a VW T4. It's pretty old now. It's the 1998 model and has a 1.9 diesel engine. So as you enter the van, you see that we have reupholstered our lovely door insides. And we used coffee sacks for this. They're recycled, they're Hessian, they're super cheap, and it's a really good use of a product that would usually be wasted, and they look awesome. For this, all we needed was the spray glue and then the Hessian sack. Super cheap, love it. When changing the door card, some of these clips broke off as well, so we just needed to buy a few more of these, and we got those from eBay. We got the Hessian sacks from eBay, and we bought the spray glue from a local hardware shop. Moving up, you'll also see our lovely curtains. Now our van actually came with the curtains, so I used the original curtains and the little wire here, the connecting wire, as a template. And I bought some really cheap cotton calico fabric, again from eBay. And I tie-dyed it myself using a Dylon dye in our shower, and tie-dyed it to make it look really funky. And sewed it all together using the original lines and the original lining from the curtains that came with the van. We did the same for all of the curtains in the van. I used the same method for our sofa cushions too. We already had the cushions and the roller bed here, but it just wasn't comfy enough and it was really old, and we didn't like the design on the fabric. So we added a memory foam topper, and I used the original template of the cushions, making sure it was a little bit thicker to make room for the new memory foam. Used the same calico fabric, tie-dyed it, stitched it all together, and they look amazing. They also velcro together as well, so they don't come apart. But you can easily remove them to wash them, because these get a lot of use and they do get dirty, especially with a dog. But this isn't our only seat in the van. But our favourite thing that we changed in the van was changing the passenger seat to a swivel base seat. This swivel seat makes the van feel so much bigger. It makes use of the cab space, which is usually totally unusable if you're not driving. It meant that we could get a table out in the middle, we could sit together, we could eat together, we could play games together, and we're facing each other, and it just feels much more user-friendly, like a proper room. This is by far our favourite change that we've made. We bought the swivel base on Facebook Marketplace and then had a friend fix it for us, because these are aftermarket seats, so it needed to have a little bit of an adjustment, but it works so super well. Highly recommend if you've got a T4 camper van. Talking about our table and entertainment space, I'll show you that next. So we opted for a stowaway flat table. I got this from B&M for £10. It's super simple to put up. It's great to have access to a table. We use this for preparing our food and cooking, for games at night, but it's really great that it's not up all of the time. We just stow it away next to our solar panels here and only take it out when we need it. Talking about solar panels, these are stowed behind the driver's chair, and they connect to our Jackery power system, which we were kindly gifted. We have 2 solar panels, and we got to use them quite a bit on our trip in Ireland. Our Jackery power bank never went below 40% power. As long as the sunshine was out of the cloud, there was about 120 watts plus of power pumping through into our Jackery. So this is our Jackery system. It's the Jackery 1000. It stays here when we're driving, but can be removed on day trips if we want it to, though it pretty much stayed here most of the time. And we keep it secure in the corner here with these webbing straps that we made. We have a 12-volt DC power in all of the time, and that is linked to this DC extension cable with 3 different outputs. That just gets velcroed up there. And then this controls our LED lights, our shower and boiler if we want it to. It even has USB output. This also has its own USB output and 2 mains plug sockets. This never let us down on our whole trip. We used it every single day. It charged super easily, either by solar or when we were driving we charged it up. Super impressed. Right, onto our cabinets. We quickly realised why the previous owners of the van had put this lock and a bottom lock also on the cupboards. If both weren't done up, then they rattled, they opened a little bit, everything went flying everywhere. So make sure lock your cupboards well and securely. These came, all of this cabinetry is original, though we did reef surface them. We used some 3mm ply that we already owned, nailed it to the front with glue as well. And then we bought these beautiful handles to really finish the look. Right, in this first cupboard is our toilet and games cupboard. Random combination, but it works. So we've got a few games in here. We did have more. 2-player games are essential when you're going away in the van. Obviously spare toilet roll, bins, things like that. And then down here is our toilet, and we simply just slide it out, use it, slide it back in again. That's the first cupboard. Now this second cupboard really did get annoying. You can't access it when the bed is pulled out. We wanted to put things inside it that we didn't want all the time, which was food and cooking supplies. So all of our food and tinned goods was on this top shelf. And then at the bottom, we stored everything in a bag in our washing up bowl, so that all the dirty things once used could just go straight back in there. We wash them up and then it goes straight back in the cupboard. We used 2 stoves for cooking on our 12-day island adventure. The first one is a Trangia. We used the Trangia 27. This runs on methylated spirits. We felt more than comfortable using it inside the van. It's silent, it feels really safe, and it just works genuinely really well. If we wanted to boil or cook something super quickly, then we used this one. And this is from Cool Canvas. It's the Fire Maple. The stove fits beautifully in this tiny little box, whilst the gas is stowed inside the actual pot that you boil the water in. So sometimes we used this to boil the water, and other times we just put a saucepan straight on this. It's super loud, but it works really well and it's really fast. So depending on what we needed, depending on which one we used. And if we had a couple of things on the go, then we used both of them. We also kept some of our food in this cupboard, which also houses our fridge. This fridge also connects up through the worktop and into our Jackery. This type of cabinet works so much better in the van because you can access it when the roller bed is a bed and a chair. I think we need to make this cupboard work in a similar way for it to work better, so that we can access the food at all times, because that became a problem really when we were away. This cupboard we nicknamed the danger cupboard because you never knew what you were going to find when you opened it. Everything would always fall straight out and onto one another. We use it to keep our laptops, speaker, We thought we were going to use it for the cameras, but in the end we actually wanted them to be a bit more protected, so we kept those in my rucksack in the cab. We had books in here, games, and it kind of just became a hold all basically, and we just tie it together with a bit of elastic string so that when we're driving along it can't let anything out. And then we have one more cupboard to go through, but for that we need to change this into a bed. Easy as that. So the last cupboard is this one. This is where we store all our clothes, and then under it our blankets and extra sleeping bags. It goes all the way down, so it's a huge cupboard, great for stowing away soft items like that can be all packed down. We also use the bottom bit of the cupboard for our liquid propane gas bottle that runs our shower. To avoid this cupboard opening as we're driving, we have a little elastic wire here that comes round, hooks there, and then that one can't open either. We decided to go for LED lights in the van, as well as fairy lights. These work off of a remote, which we velcro to the wall. We found that when we installed them they were far too bright, so we've put a little bit of fabric over the top to make, otherwise they would be that bright and it was just a bit too intense. So we put a bit of fabric over, which dims them and makes them way less intense. There we go. We also found that we used our fairy lights quite a lot. These fairy lights give a beautiful glow in the evening. They're not intense, they're really subtle and a lovely light. Plus they're battery operated, so a really good backup. I think our last big thing in the van that we added was our boiler system and shower. Jim was unconvinced about adding a boiler and a shower. It caused a lot of work. The gas bottle needed to sit inside a sill unit, something that is difficult to justify space for in such a small camper van. But he managed it, he made it work. The boiler's fitted beautifully, and we managed to find space for all of the pipes and the wires. I did enjoy a beautiful shower on the beach in Ireland, and we used it for washing up a few times. However, it is a bit of a hassle to set up, and when you're nice and cozy in the van, the last thing you want to do is go outside in the cold and have a shower, even if it is warm. That's the last thing you want to do. So we kind of chose 50-50 between using that and then boiling water for washing up inside the van, just on the stove. I reckon in the summer months though, when you've got lighter evenings and it's a little bit more mild outside, that we would use it more. However, for this kind of trip, it is hard to justify the cost that we spent and the time that we spent to put it in the van. Hopefully for a summer trip though, we use it a lot more and it feels more useful. Right, that is our van. I hope you enjoyed checking out the changes that we've made. Hopefully you find it useful on little things that you can add to make changes to make it feel more you whilst you're still on a budget. And I hope you find our review of the higher ticketed items like the Jackery and the dual tap boiler useful to see if you kind of want those things in your van as well. Now next week we bring you part 1 of our island adventure. We have got so much to share with you and I can't wait for you to see and hear your reaction. See you next time. Bye!